Mary McLeod Bethune, educator, activist, leader, and legacy. Mary McLeod Bethune was a civil rights activist, an educator, and served as president of the National Association of Colored Women. She also founded the National Council of Negro Women. She would later go to serve on the NAACP. Mary Jane McLeod was born on July 10, 1875. Growing up as the youngest of 17 children to freed slaves in Mayersville, South Carolina, there were little to no opportunities for her to succeed. Bethune was the only family to attend school, thanks to a missionary school for African American children that opened near her home. She had to travel miles each way, usually by foot, in order to attend school. Being able to attend school meant the world to Bethune as a girl. She would take every opportunity she was given to learn as much as possible. Bethune would often bring home her lessons in order to help her parents learn to read and write. This is where her passion for education began, a passion she would carry with her for the rest of her life. Bethune later received a scholarship to attend an all-girls school, Scotia Seminary, now named the Barber Scotia College. She graduated from Scotia Seminary in 1893. She then attended Moody's Institute for Home and Foreign Missions, where she completed her studies as the only African American student at the school. After returning home from Moody's Bible Institute, Bethune unsurprisingly became an educator. In 1898, she married fellow educator Albertus Bethune. They had one son, Albert McLeod Bethune. Unfortunately, the two separated in 1907. Bethune believed the only true key to racial advancement was education. She founded the Daytona Normal and Institute for Negro Girls in Daytona, Florida in 1904. She began with only 5 students, yet by the end of 1910, the school would boast over 250 students. Bethune served as president of the Daytona Normal and Institute School and remained the leader of the college even after the Girls' College merged with Cookman's Institute for Men in the 1920s. The combined institution was renamed Bethune-Cookman College. This was one of the few institutions where African American men and women could pursue a post-secondary education. Bethune remained at the institution until 1942. Bethune did not solely work to improve lives from an education standpoint alone. In 1924, she became the president of the Florida chapter of the National Association of Colored Women. And Bethune did not stop there. She also advised multiple presidents on a handful of topics. Under President Coolidge, Bethune often spoke on child welfare. She served on the Commission on Home Building and Home Ownership, as well as served on a committee on child health under President Hoover. However, Bethune's most significant advisement role came in 1935 as a special advisor on minority affairs to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Here she is pictured with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. In addition to her advisor position, she became a good friend to both the president and his wife. In the same year she became special advisor to President Roosevelt, Bethune also began her own civil rights organization, the National Council of Negro Women. This group served to represent critical issues for African American women. The next year, 1936, Bethune was appointed as the director of the Division of Negro Affairs of the National Youth Administration by President Roosevelt. One of her main concerns was providing job opportunities for young people. By 1942, Bethune had left her position as president of Bethune-Cookman College and was no longer serving as advisor to the president. However, her role as social activist was nowhere near finished. Still serving on the National Council of Negro Women, Bethune began living in the Washington, D.C. headquarters townhouse. In 1945, Bethune helped represent the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People at a national conference on the founding of the United Nations, where she met W.E.B. Du Bois. Bethune once again was hand-selected by the President of the United States, when in the early 1950s, President Truman appointed her to a committee on national defense, as well as appointed her to serve as an official delegate to a presidential inauguration in Liberia. Mary McLeod Bethune passed away not long after this position in 1955, in Florida, where she had retired. Bethune has been honored numerous times since her passing, and is widely accepted as a national treasure. In 1973, Bethune was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. In 1994, the National Park Service bought the former Washington, D.C. headquarters of the National Council of Negro Women and has since turned it into the Mary McLeod Bethune Council House, National Historical Site. Even the U.S. Postal Service has used her likeness on a stamp. Mary McLeod Bethune was a legacy in her time. She dedicated her entire life to the advancement of not only African Americans, but women as well. She was born with close to no opportunities to succeed, and yet, in her life, she served as president to 2 schools, president of 2 national organizations, and served as special advisor to 4 U.S. presidents. She was influential not only in her time, but continues to be an influence today as well.